But hold on, just to let you know up front, I got boobies at the top with a stick at the bottom. Boobies at the top with a stick at the bottom. Boobies at the top and I'm thick at the bottom. I got boobies at the top with a stick at the bottom. Now you know up front, so it won't be a problem. Boobies at the top with a stick at the bottom. Boobies at the top and I'm thick at the bottom. I got boobies at the
Family, thanks for joining us here at Black Gay Table Talk for another episode of Tapping into Talent. For today's episode, we have, I will admit, I'm a fan. I am a fan. Entertainer, singer, songwriter, the beautiful, the lovely Sunkee Angel. How are you?
Hello, hello. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
No, I'm good. I'm so happy to have you on the show. You have no idea.
I'm happy to be here, to be honest. I'm so thankful to be here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us. So, okay, for those of you who don't know, Sunkee Angel is, in my opinion, a vet in this game by now. Like you've
Absolutely.
been entertaining us, bringing us different perspectives, using your voice too. You've been at it for a while, and
Yes. Oh, yes.
kudos to you. Kudos to you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. It's definitely been a journey. It's been a long road.
A long road.
Yes.
So your road began in Alabama, right?
Montgomery, the Gump, 334, Montgomery, Alabama. Absolutely. I'm a
All
Southern
right.
Belle.
Come on now. I'm originally from Memphis, so we got
Okay,
that
come on,
tie
Memphis.
being from the
Yeah.
South.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what was it like for those of you who may not have heard your story in
hmm
past? Like, what was it like coming from Alabama, being who you are?
Okay, well, let's say specifically Montgomery, Alabama, because I guess different parts of Alabama could be different, depending on where
True.
you grew up, what city you grew up. Specifically Montgomery, Alabama, for me, woo, I always say it's bittersweet. I love my hometown. I never really try to like down talk my hometown, but we know if we're being honest, because I'm here to be honest. Coming from the South, first of all, can be very challenging for Black trans women, and specifically if you're LGBT in any sector of the community, it can be kind of difficult depending on where you grew up and how strict or how maybe ignorant some people can be coming from the South. So for me,
True.
coming from Montgomery, Alabama, I went to like, elementary school and, after elementary school, I went to junior high school. And during those years, I always felt that I was different. And I got teased really bad a lot. A lot of guys picked on me and stuff like that, which is a lot of people's, I think that's a lot of people kind of go through that. And so it's very,
Yeah.
a lot of people can relate to that. But for me, it was very difficult at times, growing up in a place like Montgomery where, uh, I didn't really have the language to understand trans or what it was because I always knew from a very early age that I felt like a girl on the inside. I remember telling like my friends and I feel like a girl. As I would
Yeah.
grow up, I feel like a girl. I remember putting on like my mother's wigs and tying like her do rags around me like a dress, like a skirt. So little
Hmm.
things like that I could remember. Just growing up, and I remember also people just kind of like looking at me different because they always knew that okay something is, definitely not one of the
Okay.
typical boys at the time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
growing up in Montgomery is definitely had its challenges.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Yes, growing up in the South, and then, like you said, the boys, typical
Yes.
boys, being the typical boys, not playing with girl toys.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if I said this, but even growing up, like I used to, I used to style my cousins' Barbies
Oh
hairs,
yes. Yes. Yes.
so they
Yes.
would have their little appointments for
Not
their.
the appointments.
They would have the appointments.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
But early on that you're different, and
Yes.
you don't know quite what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know that you're not like them,
Like
not
the
like them.
right. It's a feeling. I feel like it's definitely a feeling. Whether you're gay
Yes.
or trans. Because I think for the most like a lot of trans people or individuals, some of us, we don't even really we know some of us know, but some of us don't. So we're categorized as gay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First. And
True.
then once we begin to evolve and we recognize, oh, we're not I'm not gay. I don't feel like a boy or a girl. I mean a boy
Mhm.
or a man per se, more so a girl. You know what I mean? As
Right.
time progresses, we figure out, oh, this is not gay.
Yeah. I got
Mhm.
you. I got you. I will
Yeah.
admit I'm thankful for my trans sisters and my trans brothers too, but
Yes.
I will say, a lot of the gay boys made it through because of the trans girls. Okay,
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna be
Absolutely.
real.
Absolutely. The
So
trans women definitely, were at the front of the lines fighting and still
yeah,
are.
and
I'm one
still
of them. I'm one of them.
you are, and I have to give you your props because I do see you using your platform, using your voice, being in the streets, so to speak,
Yes.
like
I'm
paving the
definitely in the
way.
trenches. I'm in the trenches. I think too, like, the way that I'm attacking has never been done. So I'm pioneering through music. We don't
Yes,
really have musical. I think a lot of people tend to try to kind of like overlook the musical advocates because you can advocate through song, through music.
true, true.
Advocating doesn't stop at, holding a sign or like, being on a talk show talking to people about the community or, the typical way of
The
advocating or activism.
yeah,
I advocate in my own way, and it's been working. I've been getting a lot of people's attention through my music, as you know, with the song "Titties at the Top and Dick at the Bottom," and songs like that, "Piss on the Floor," and
yes,
all those things. So I'm really thankful and grateful to have a voice to be able to use through music and to be able to get people's attention to drive them to a deeper message.
yes. I love that. I love that. You better come on now.
Ah,
So, speaking of which, and let's kind of break it down, right? So
yes.
you started a while ago, and I'm gonna take you back, if I could take you back just for a second.
Okay.
So, paranormal blacktivity.
Oh, oh my God! Wait. That's Auntie Jackie, baby. That's Auntie Jackie Paranormal Black Activity.
Yes, yes. So, first off, how was Auntie Jackie born? Like, where did Auntie Jackie come from?
To be honest, it's so crazy because one of my nieces who had an Auntie Jackie on her dad's side of the family. She would always talk about Auntie Jackie. They would always talk about Auntie Jackie. So I don't know. Me and my niece was like at that time we were very close, and I would be like, I'm your Auntie Jackie, and I would always play. And I think too, I think a lot of us, if we have nieces, if they're girls, like in the family,
Yeah,
we tend to connect a little bit more maybe with the nephews because the nephews may be boys and they want to play football. But I would always connect with my nieces a lot. Growing up playing with them more so than anything, like acting like I'm
yeah.
on TV shows on Jet Spring and we fight and you know what I mean, like doing
I
all of
love
that.
it. Yes.
So one of my nieces, by the name of Altoria, she had a auntie by the name of Auntie Jackie on her dad's side, and I would tease her and stuff like that. And then I just ran with that name. It just stuck with me. I just love that. It was just something about Auntie Jackie that I just love because I think everybody has an Auntie Jackie for the most part. I talk to a
Everybody.
lot of people, and they be like, "I got an Auntie Jackie." I would hear it all the time. It's like everybody got an Auntie Jackie. So I
Yes.
ran with that. I felt like that name was very relatable to people. So also that was also it was also a way for me to kind of let out the woman in me, but it could be a
Mm,
joke.
mm-hmm.
At that time, I really wasn't ready to be Sunkee. So if anybody had anything to say, I could easily say, well, no, it's just a character.
It's
It's just
just a
comedy.
character.
But it was really
Yeah.
me, letting that fish out when I wanted her to come out. It was really me being me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Auntie Jackie was like a safe space for me, and she still is
Mhm.
to some degree. I think
Oh,
I as I began to evolve and to become more of Sun Key, I put her more on the back burner now because I'm actually living as me. But she's always there and will always be a part of me. Um, but I think, as some people, they begin to like just keep me in that box as auntie. You know what I mean? And some
yeah.
people, I think they kind of just only saw me as that. And it's like, no, I'm so much more than auntie. So I started to
Yeah.
begin to focus on me as a person, as Sunkee Angel. And just differentiating the two, so people know it's definitely a difference. Sunkee is more the serious person. Auntie Jackie is the more the. I mean, Sunkee could be comical too, but
Yeah.
Auntie is more like the funny, the extreme funny.
Yeah.
She can sometimes bring a message here and there. She's the ratchet, she's the ghetto, she's clicking on you, she's going off, she's dancing her ass off. She's
She
everybody's
fighting and
auntie.
whooping ass in the parking
Whooping
lot.
ass in the
Like
projects over Trey Songz. Trey
over
Songz, and
Trey
by the
Songz.
way, Trey Songz blocked me, by the way, honey, because but I know he definitely know who I am.
Oh.
It was something. It was something small. I mean, he had just had his child, and everybody know that Auntie Jackie was in love with Trey
Was in
Songz.
love with Trey Songz, right?
It's all fake. It's fake. It's not real. But he had I think he had a son. I think I want to say, and I made a post, acting like I was like a woman scorned as Auntie Jackie, and I said
Oh
something
my
about son, and he blocked my ass on my old page. I'm still following him on my new page because I had to get a new page because my other page got shut down. But
Right, right.
yeah,
So
it's
still a
just
fan.
little things like that, which is crazy. But I feel like you could never take Auntie Jackie like serious. She's a character, but
She's a character, yeah.
I understand too. People's children are very sensitive, but I didn't say anything crazy. I'm just like, what, you had a baby on me? Like, that ain't your baby. And at that time, I think he was dealing with people saying that that wasn't his child, so I think he took it the wrong way. But
Yeah.
yes, Auntie Jackie is definitely the person that I look to kind of just like come through as a vessel to be myself and to be
Yeah.
to lead me to Sunkee. And it's so crazy because then I went by the name Diggy Doo back then.
Diggy do.
So Diggy Doo, yes. So I went by Diggy Doo. So okay, so that was so basically then I feel like I was more so, I don't know how to put it. Like, I guess I want to say like then kind of hard to explain. I kind of feel like Auntie Jackie and Diggy, because of course it's two different people. So basically now I see myself as a woman playing Auntie Jackie. At the
Mm-hmm.
time it was me kind of transforming from a gay male to Auntie Jackie, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I get what you're saying. I get
yeah,
what you're saying. It would be it's different now because you're you playing Auntie Jackie versus Auntie
yes,
Jackie being that
yes,
catalyst for you to feel like you're close to the you that you knew you were.
yes, yes, yes,
Come on now. See, I know a little something. A little something.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay. So, okay. Trans Alien Studios, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's your baby, right?
Yes.
How
Transalien
did
Studio Transalien Studios is basically that's my production company.
yes.
And we're working to grow it and things of that nature. But Transalien Studios, I go by Sunkee Angel, the Trans Alien. So the whole Trans Alien theme, I've always felt alien, like alienated out of this world. And then I
Mhm.
started to see that spirit also gave me a different perception of me feeling this way, being alienated, feeling alienated because we are outcasted many times, being trans and, not being, being ostracized by family and things of that nature. So trans alien for me is very, very deep. It's deeper than just like production. It's a meaning behind that.
Right. It's a
So yeah,
movement.
Transalien Studios is where we produce everything in house. Music videos, short films, everything you see is coming out of. It's basically my own little Tyler Perry little, little thingy
Yes.
thingy. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely kind of got that Tyler Perry vibe, but more celestial. As far
I
as like
love that.
when you look at the brand, when you look at that, it's
Yes.
very alien and yeah.
It, yes, I get it. I get it.
Hmm.
So, okay, being a trans woman and being out in the public,
Hmm.
and pioneering, I'm sure it's not easy, but
Yes.
focusing in a bit on different policies that you see
Hmm.
coming forward from this current administration with you know who,
Yes. Yes.
Donald Trump.
Yes.
How do you feel like knowing where you were prior to Donald Trump, right? And obviously there
Yes.
was still work, but seeing what he's done in this short time that he's been there, it's been just what, over 100 days?
It's been somewhere around that time. I think it's definitely been, yeah, somewhere around, I think.
How do you feel seeing all this stuff happening?
Well, to be honest, a lot of trans people are very nervous. They're afraid. We already live with, well, a lot of people in the community live with fear, because it's a lot of shit is like really like uncertain for us. But the bathroom thing, that's been an issue for a lot of people too. I mean, me personally, I really never had any issues going into the women's restroom. But I definitely feel like he's in office to try to like kind of like wipe us. I feel like he's trying to wipe us off the map or something. I don't understand what he's trying to do with us. I don't know like what that's about. But I mean, I know we all know MAGA, that side over there. They don't really fuck with us like that. So um, it's kind of like scary a little bit because we don't really know the direction that where we don't really know what he's trying to do. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I just believe in using my voice and trying to um, just bring awareness as much as I can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I know a lot of girls who travel, and I
Yes.
know that there was the whole passport thing, right?
Hmm.
The
That's a
passport.
major major issue.
Explain to me how you felt when you heard that come through.
So to be honest, that honestly kind of fucked me up a little bit because the crazy part is that I know I'm a little late, but I'm actually just now trying to get my passport, which I
Mm-hmm.
found it so strange. Like, I had an issue with I ended up losing my birth certificate moving to Los Angeles, and there are a lot of things coming up for me, and I will be traveling out of the country and stuff like that. So I'm like, I gotta I don't have a choice but to get my passport. So I just found it really weird that right around this time that I'm trying to get it, it's like here come all these laws and stuff like that. So it's like, damn, am I gonna be able to leave? Like, is it gonna be an issue for me to do what it is I need to do when I'm trying to leave to travel outside of the country? For me, I think that he shouldn't be stopping just one specific group. Nobody, period. I mean, everybody has the right to travel to do what they want to do. I don't think he has the right to basically pick on trans. I feel like he's like picking on us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also think that he's also using this as a way, like they keep trying to make this trans thing like we're the problem. And I feel like he's using this as a way to kind of like distract people from something else. Like,
That's
you know what
exactly
I
what it feels
mean?
like.
That's what he's
Because
doing.
all the girls I know, y'all not out robbing banks. Y'all not
Right,
out like
right,
plotting this. Y'all trying to
right.
work.
We are working. We working. But
Right.
he's definitely
Working.
interfering. He's definitely trying to interfere. And I don't understand why I just don't understand it. I don't. Every
Yeah.
time I think about it, my mind just goes somewhere else because it's like it's so much. I feel like when it comes to Donald Trump, like it's always something. It's like every other day, it's always something with him.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get it. I try to I try and the show tries. We try to make sure that we show up, that we support, that
Hmm.
we are, putting boots to the ground when we
That's right.
can, like coverage, anything that
Hmm.
we can do, we want to make sure that we support the community
Yes. Yes.
because we're all human and we all have that
Absolutely.
basic human need or basic human experience that we should be able to have
Yes.
without
To be
being
free.
attacked.
Hmm.
Yes, to be free.
To be free.
I love
Yeah,
that.
it's definitely a thing. I'm not completely finished with the process of my passport, but I'm not gonna act like I haven't been thinking about it. Like, it's gonna be difficult to finish
Hmm.
this process to get it to get what I need to travel where I need to travel.
Hmm.
Like I said, that's the part that's kind of scary. It's like, damn, is this they don't care who you are if you are trans. But I'm wondering, is it because I thought too at one point it was like you had to have either male or female on there, but then I think it was an issue with like people who are non-binary,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
they don't feel, either or.
Either
So
or.
I started feeling like, well, maybe he's trying to like say that they got to put one or the other, it's got to be one or the other. Like, it don't matter if you, whoever you say you are, need to be one side or the other. That's what I thought, they was
Yeah.
trying to do. But I
Yeah.
mean, non-binary people, they don't feel like they are either or. So I don't really know how that goes though when you're non-binary because I don't know if they have male or female. I don't know what they have. I think they might have like something else. I don't know.
Hmm. I got
Yeah,
you.
like a third. I don't know, but
Yeah. All right. So going back a little bit, right? Going back a
yes,
little bit. So, um, you grew up in Alabama, right?
yes,
And,
yes.
like you mentioned, being picked on or being bullied. What was family like? Did family know that or recognize that you were different?
Family definitely recognized. My family definitely could tell something was going on. There were times where I feel like my mom tried to have me to play like basketball with, some of her like male friends and their children and stuff like that. I remember one time specifically, I was staying behind Baptist Hospital in Montgomery, Alabama, and one of her girlfriends' husband had a son who came over and he would play basketball and stuff with the people and stuff next door. And
Hmm.
I had a conversation with this lady earlier. I mean, later on in life, where she told me she would talk to my mom, and she would be telling my mom, like at the time, let him be, who he want to be. He's not
Yeah.
into that type of stuff. But my mom was trying to push me to kind of like get her husband to kind of like get her son. You know what I mean? To like play with me to do male things, more masculine things, and
Yeah.
to play basketball and stuff like that. And I remember this lady telling me that her husband was telling my mom that that's not, what he wants to do. That's not him at that time. They would say him.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was definitely times where I feel like my mother definitely knew something was. They say a mother always knows, but I think my mom was very much in denial, and she could still be. That's why we don't talk.
Hmm.
We don't communicate at all. It's probably best for me too because I'm healing from so many things, and yeah, I think growing up in Montgomery, it's It's a lot just even thinking about it. But like just growing up, I think it's a thing where like once if you're different and you coming from a very religious background and you have like a lot of people that are very religious and they're on your case, they want you to be a certain way, it can be very
Yeah.
difficult for you to thrive. Even
Yeah.
if when you're young they try to push you to be masculine, they try to push you to be overly macho, to be straight and all this type of stuff, and that was never who I was. I was
Mhm.
always into men or guys. So for me, it's always been a thing where I just wanted to be myself. um, yeah, I just
I
wanted to be
got
myself.
I got you. I got you. Um, so you did you were on um seatbelt
Yes,
psych.
seatbelt psychic. Yes.
What was that like? Because I know they did mention, or the
Uh-huh.
guy, I can't remember his name, but he
Thomas
did
John.
mention Thomas John. He did
Uh-huh.
mention your grandfather, and he
Yes.
mentioned the load, I guess, that was kind of put on you to be something. How have you, since that aired or since you had that revelation given to you, how have you healed or moved beyond that, or have you?
Oh, um, I feel like that show was definitely somewhat healing. But let's just be honest. When you have gone through years and years and years of trauma, a
Mm,
TV show in one whop just can't, you know what I mean, just undo the damage. You know what I mean? It's definitely some residue left behind that I've worked through. Even to this day, I'm 37. I'm still working through religious trauma. But,
mhm,
hearing that did soothe me a little bit. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, some people was asking, like, was that fake? People still ask because, it's still being aired. They play that a lot. A lot of people were like, I
yeah.
saw you on, this SIBO Psychic show. And I'm like, yeah. It was a really cool episode. But, yeah, I definitely feel like it definitely soothed me, but I'm still working through things, just being honest. I was really gagging because they didn't tell me what the show was about or anything. They just told me it was going to be, I think, like on ABC. And they had me to stand out to wait at the curb. And I saw a black SUV peel up, and I didn't know anything. So there were a few people asking, like, well, did he do some background search? But I don't think so, because I didn't say anything about my grandfather, no nothing. So when I got in the
Mhm.
back seat, there were cameras. I'm like, okay, I don't know what this is about to be, but of course I know it's a show, but I didn't know
Right.
exactly like the context of what it was about, where we were headed. So
Yeah.
Thomas John pulled up, and that's when he started questioning me, and then he was like, oh, I'm a psychic. I'm like, oh, well, damn, okay, so, and then he was like, your grandfather's coming through, and I'm like, oh, like that, it kind of gagged me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely gagged. It was a gag, and that was the
Yeah.
first time I think I've ever been on a show that was centered around like psychics and or mediums, because I think he's a medium. That's what he referred to himself as. So, yeah, that was
Okay.
a really dope experience. It was really dope being
Yeah.
a part of that. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Um, I'm not gonna lie. Watching it, it kind of took my breath away to see your face when he said that your grandfather
Yeah, I was gagging. That was real.
loves
That
you.
was definitely real.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
loves you and he accepts who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like the look on your face, I was like, oh my gosh. And I will admit you held it together, but you were
Yeah.
still like, is this like what's going on, Ashton? Where you at? Like,
Yes, yes. Like, what's really going on? Because I honestly, they didn't tell me. Most times I feel like producers, they'll say, okay, this is going to be the name of the show. This is what you're
Mhm.
doing. This is what we
Yeah,
want you for. This is the role I want. They didn't tell me nothing. I think they had to keep all of that under wraps. I
yeah,
guess for just like legal purposes. But when I got there and honey, he got me in that back seat, I was just like, wait, like what the hell? Like it kind of threw me off guard a little bit. I thought it was going to be more like maybe a show where they might question or something. You know how they have like the back seat taxi shows and stuff like that. I thought it was going to be something like that. But then when I found out he was a medium and he was like my granddad, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how you know my granddad dead? You know what I mean?
right.
So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
really crazy. It was really dope though. I really enjoyed him, and I think that's definitely going to be a moment I'll never forget. But the gag is a lot of people don't know. After I got through with that part in the parking lot, like when I was talking towards the end, when they
Hmm.
had the cameraman, I was talking about, like where I'm from and stuff like that, and how it is and how they only know it's like either you're gay or, straight. I had a panic attack. Like they didn't know
Really?
it. And this is like my first time even talking about it, yes, but I actually had a panic attack. Like sometimes some panic attacks can be like I deal with anxiety sometimes, but the
Yeah.
trauma is so strong sometimes. Even when I'm talking about certain topics, I think it's triggering something in my brain,
Yeah.
and I had to tell them to stop for a second. Like, can I get some water? Because I could feel myself. something was happening in the brain that I couldn't understand. And I had to
Mm-hmm.
kind of like gather myself, and then we were able to push through. But yeah, the trauma has been so deep to the point that, I deal with something called religious trauma syndrome. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it was a term that was coined by this psychiatrist by the name of Marlene Winnell. And
Mm-hmm.
she was the one that coined this term, basically, where she started seeing a lot of people coming to her dealing with religious trauma and how it can stick with you and cause nightmares, PTSD, and all types of stuff, depending
Mm-hmm.
on how religion is being implemented, with said person.
Right.
Everybody
Right.
may not be necessarily traumatized by religion. It depends on how it is taught to you, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I
So
get it.
so yeah, so like dealing with anxiety and panic, it's gotten a lot better. But this was like back in 2018 when I did that show, and yeah, just even talking about it, it triggered something in me, and I noticed myself as I was talking. I'm like, I could feel like my heart, my palms getting sweaty. I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack. That's
Mm-hmm.
how real it's been for me. That's how like the psychological impact can really impact a person when you have been traumatized by religion to the point that even when you bring up certain topics, it's just like people who remember a smell when they might have been molested or something like that. If they smell that smell, it could
Yeah.
trigger them. You know
Yes.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Um, in doing what you do now, right, with
hmm
performing and appearances and things like that, do you ever feel like you're triggered, or do you feel like, okay, this is where I feel safe? You know how sometimes you can be
Yes.
in the mode, like, which are you? I mean, do you have those moments?
Um. Um. I feel like it's a little bit of both. I feel like it's a little
Okay.
bit of both. I feel like because coming from the trauma and just going through a lot of targeting, coming from Montgomery, Alabama, being bullied and things like that. I think some of that kind of does stick with you. So when you're in the public eye, when I'm doing certain shows, I've had moments where I've battled with anxiety. Anxiety has been a really like huge part of my experience, living on this earth. It's been really crazy, but I'm, learning about certain medications and things that I can do to help me. Medication really does work and it does help. And I think for so long, I was unmedicated trying to handle, what I mean, so many things and not really knowing that medication can really help you, if you find the right medication, if you work
Right.
with your doctor and stuff like your psychiatrist. So now I have some tools and stuff like that, medications that kind of help me get through the anxiety and some of
Mm-hmm.
the, traumatic triggers that I go through. But yeah, I feel like it's a little bit of both. It's safe and it's a bit, you know, it's both. Yeah, I
Got
wouldn't just say it's just one.
right.
But I think the more I'm, tapping more into my purpose and just walking in it, and just, being unapologetic, I think the more comfortable I'm becoming me and being more in the spotlight and just not being so in my head, if that makes sense.
I got you. I
hmm
got you.
Yeah.
That's fair. Um, okay, so getting into what you do, right? So,
Yes.
a song that became very, very, very popular, um, which I will admit it kind of put you on my radar too, because I'm the
Yes.
type of person, it's not enough of us in representation when you're
Absolutely.
looking at TV or whatever. So I
Absolutely.
intentionally go out looking for black trans, black gay,
Yes.
black, you know what I'm saying?
hmm
So, partly why I started Black Gay Table Talk. I
I
wanted
love that.
something that I want to go on and watch talk shows where we talking to our people out here in the community. And yeah, we have
Yes.
our Nas X's, right? That's cool.
hmm hmm
But what about the folks who aren't at that status yet, that are making
Yes.
moves? Like, why can't
Yes.
we support them earlier on in their journeys, or just really
hmm
show support?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yes. So, upfront,
hmm
upfront, what inspired you to start, or to even put pen to paper with that song?
So actually, what started that was because I noticed that, every time like a black trans woman would be murdered or something like that, I feel like a
Mm,
lot of black people specifically they would always just like, the first thing that would come out of their mouth is that, we tricked them. You
uh-huh.
know, they want to make it seem like that we're not open and proud of who we are. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of things. It's a lot of things that I'm still attacking to this day that I feel like that needs to be addressed as it pertains to being a part of the Black community, because the Black community, even though I love my people, sometimes they don't always love us back, being trans specifically. There's a lot of hatred and flack and pushback that we get just trying to live our lives, even when we're not doing anything. So
True.
I'm just like, since I'm gonna be attacked, even if we're not doing nothing, I might as well just go ahead and put belt to ass and just give them an ass whooping and just go and bring that message. I might as well. That y'all already feel like we are not, worthy to breathe the same air that y'all breathing. So I might as well just go and give it to y'all raw. So I decided to make Upfront, titties at the top, dick at the bottom, to let people know that, we're not hiding. Men are seeking us out. It's not a thing where, y'all keep trying to paint this narrative that, oh, the reason why a trans woman is getting killed is because she didn't say nothing. No.
And that's
They
so
want to
not
fuck.
true.
They want to fuck. They seeking us out. They want it.
They
and some
down.
of them are getting fucked. So
that part, that's a
yes.
Listen, don't you? I'm gonna run out this room. Don't you do it? Don't you do it?
Yes, it's real. It's real. It's real.
That is so
it's real.
true. You know what?
So
a Black Gay Table Talk After Dark moment, right?
uh-huh.
A lot of people assume, and I think I can go there with you. I'm gonna go there.
Of course,
right?
of course.
A lot of people assume that when a guy gets with a trans girl, that she's the one taking dick.
Yes.
And real talks, I've seen a lot of times where it's the other way around, and
Absolutely.
they use that whole "she tricked me" shit because
Yeah.
they're scared to let.
They don't want to be, associated with the stigma of being with a trans woman.
Right.
And it's sad, but I honestly feel like I was put here on this earth during this particular time to, to bring these issues to the forefront, but to also help make people feel more comfortable in who they are, which I've been doing anyway. You know what I mean? Like, not just the community. I've had straight guys who are attracted to trans women, or who might be bisexual, whatever the case may be, who have hit me up on the back end, like, you are really like helping me to be more, honest with myself, to be more open. So that in itself is a blessing, to help people come into their own personal truth in their own timing, not forcing people, making them feel bad for like hiding, because I was once there as well. So what the fuck I look like trying to bash somebody who's down low? Now, you have some people who feel like we should be the ones exposing. I don't believe in exposing like men. I don't believe in it. First of all, it's dangerous. And men, they don't play about their manhood and their image and stuff like that. I just feel like, I was once there. I'm not saying it's right or wrong to be DL, but at the same time, I just feel like it's not my place to out someone.
Right.
If they're not ready to come out, because who the fuck am I to do some shit like that? I feel like the only way I would do something, it would have to be something very, very, very like life or death, or something for me to just come out and be like, oh, okay, this is who I'm with or whatever, if I was to be in a situation like that. But I really don't engage with like guys who are DL,
Yeah.
Not, I have before, but I'm at a different place in my life, so I would rather prefer someone who is okay with being with a trans woman openly, because I don't deserve to be in the closet, or go back in the closet for a nigga. Like, no. I deserve somebody who's going to love me out loud just like I'm going to love them out loud.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. I love that.
Yes.
So, okay. So, the song is about transparency and putting to bed myths about the experience.
A lot of the music that I'm doing is more so about that, and like I said, I'm really targeting more so the Black community and somewhat of like the people like MAGA, kind of, because they all kind of got the same. If you ask me, the Black people kind of have gotten they whole rhetoric from that side. It's the same ideology, it's the same shit, same rhetoric, all of that. But I think a lot of it started in religion, so I'm just really covering so many bases too. I'm just like peeling off layer by layer. It's like an onion. I'm just pulling layers off. I have a single that's dropping soon. I haven't really spoke on, but it's going to be called No Agenda.
No Agenda? Okay.
Yeah. Or what? I'm sorry. What Agenda?
What Agenda?
What Agenda? And it's going to basically be talking about, I'm always saying like funny stuff. I know what to do to get people's attention through my wording, saying the off the wall shit, but that's just me anyway. That's just me being me anyway. Some people think like, are you doing this a shock value? It's like, well, I know what it's going to do when I do it, but that's not my primary focus to shock people. That's just me. You know what I mean? Like, who I am is just me. And it just so happens to shock certain people when I decide to actually do it. You know what I mean? Some people just ain't that bold to do some of the things that I've done. So to them, they like, is she trying to shock? It's like, no, bitch, this is me. This is me. People love me for just being me. I'm just live. I'm, larger than life. a bitch made a dick wig with, balls and, with the dick. That's
Yes,
me. You know what I mean? That's me. That's me. That's me. And I know, of
you
course, it's going to
did.
get attention because it's like,
Right.
again, it's something that never has been done. But my primary focus is not to just to get attention. It's more so to get their attention, to give them a message after I got their attention. So that's why I
The
call it
message is
booby.
there.
I call it booby trap music. Booby trap,
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm sitting cheese on that trap, like for a mouse to get. And once I got you with that beat, the good hook, the good melody, the that thing, that it factor, that when people hear it, it make people want to listen to it over and over again, and then
Hmm.
next thing you know, it's stuck in your head. You can't get when titties at the top. When it dropped, people were saying they couldn't get it, and people they still can't. They can't get it out of their
True.
head. So that's when you know it's a bop and it's a banger. But once I do that, and after I got you, and it's like, bam, okay, now I can hit you with this message. Which you notice at the end of that song, I had a message at the end. So
You
yeah,
did.
yeah,
You did. You did. Honestly, you had a message throughout the whole song to me, but when you
yes,
broke it down
yes,
at the end, I was like,
yes.
that's the icing. That's the
Yes,
icing.
yes, yes. And I love putting messages in songs because I think it's something that people need to hear. When I do
Yeah.
that, it's not just something I'm just doing. I need people to hear me. And to not only hear me, to hear the voices of so many of us like me. When I'm
Yeah.
speaking, I want people to see the people behind me. It's not when you look at Sunkee Angel, you're not just looking at Sunkee Angel. You're looking at Sunkee Angel and the people like Sunkee Angel. The
True.
multitudes of people like me. So yeah.
Yeah. I
Yes.
love that. But baby, I'm not gonna lie. When you had that wig on and you were twerking in the bed, I was on the floor. I
Ah,
was like, I can't take this.
oh, you
Like,
talking about the R&B version?
yes, the R&B
Yes,
version.
yes,
Because you
yes.
have multiple versions.
I
You
have
have
multiple
country,
versions. So let's get into
R&B.
that. Let's get
Okay.
into that. So actually, yes, I do. Because I decided, I was like, you know what? I want to keep driving this mesh. So when I did the first one, I was like, bitch, this ain't enough. Bitch, this ain't enough. I need to drive that shit. I need to drive it. So I'm like, you know what? Also, me and my producer, we talked and was like, you know what? Maybe this could also show them, that I can tap into every genre. I'm not just a one trick pony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to show them that I can come in every genre. So, we did the Upfront Country song, which is the country version, which people love. That was the one I think a lot of people really, really gravitated to. The melody is just sickening, with the horse. It was just, it gave every bit of
Listen,
somewhat of Beyonce. That's what they were saying. They was like, bitch, this is Beyonce-ish vibe. So that made me feel good. It's like, a lot of people saying like you like the Beyonce kind of like a trans community. You know what I mean? So
come
it
on
definitely
now.
gave. Yeah, I mean, everybody was talking about it. A lot of the celebrities and stuff, they really fuck with that song. The guy from TMZ, I think his name is Van Lathan. He
Yeah.
was saying it was the summer, song of the year. He was like, it ain't they. He just giving his opinion. He was like, it ain't Kendrick Lamar. Not like it's this song. This is a song of
Yes.
the summer. So hearing stuff like that, that really, really really made me feel good to see
Yeah.
that he was able to get it and to get the message, and it just made me feel so good. So yes. Also, we did the R&B version. We did the booty mix version. So we're deciding to do a whole upfront album where I'm going to also add in, we're working on now, the rock version, the jazz version, the Afrobeat version. And I think we're going to do like a Vogue version. We're going to make it a whole album, and we're going to try to do a video album on YouTube as well. So that's going to be the
Wow.
end of that era, the upfront
Yeah.
era. That's how
I
I'm wrapping
love
that up.
that.
You know what I mean? That way it'll be a whole body of work that it'll be timeless. People can look at it for ages and ages, and even when I'm gone, they can still, that's going to
I
be
love
talked about forever.
Yes, I love that. That's
Yeah.
hot. I love that idea. I can't wait for it.
Oh
So
yes.
let me know.
Oh, the rock version. I'm not gonna lie. The rock version is. I never even thought I could even take it there. Like my producer, we kind of push each other, but he gets me, and we have a really, really great understanding of music together. Cause
Hmm.
my ear is crazy with music, and his is too. So when we come together, it's a powerhouse. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones. You know what I mean? It's like very much Timberland and Leah, type vibes.
come
You know
on
what I
now.
mean?
I
You know
love
what I mean?
that. Yeah.
So when we get together, it's definitely that. And the rock version, when I tell you, it's so hard. Like that version, the jazz version, it's just, I just
I
can't
can't
wait for
wait to
y'all to
hear the
see it.
Afro beat. The
The
Afro
Afro
beat
beat, oh
version.
my God, it's so sick, and I don't even get me started. The Afro beat
Oh
is so. So let me ask you this: have you ever heard On My Lay? He got a
no.
song called Bend You. He went
No.
viral not too long ago.
Uh-huh.
And I think it had something to do, he was on stage with some girl, and they was dancing to the song, and the girl I think was with her boyfriend, and she left him and went up there and was rolling on him and like doing all type of stuff, and it went viral. Cause they was like, damn, he stole this girl, type energy. But
Yeah.
it's like very, it sounds basically almost just like that song, but it's dope. It sounds, I cannot
I,
wait till y'all hear this shit. And I've been
Ah,
trying to contemplate because I'm like, should I just go ahead and drop it? But I'm like, I like to drop the song with the visuals. That's the thing. I could easily
yeah.
drop it, but I just want to be able to put them visuals with it. You know what I mean?
Visuals do
It
they do
definitely
play
helps a
a
lot.
crucial
Yeah.
role.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I have a few songs I think I'm gonna go ahead and get out of the way. So we have a lot that we're working on. Once I
Yeah.
get those out of the way, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with the visuals. Go ahead and release it. Yeah,
Got
that's
it.
what I'm gonna do.
I will admit, I love your visuals. So
Thank
looking at
you.
how far you've come and
Yeah.
level of quality and
Yes. Yes. Yes.
production that's put in, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much. We work really hard over here at Alien Studios. You
Come
know,
on now.
we put everything in the balls, dick, titties, asshole, every goddamn thing. We put it all into the work. For
Yes.
real. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that I've shared, that I've shared over the years. And a
Hmm.
lot of people don't know. I'm really the muscle behind a lot of what people see. This is what I do: the production, the editing. My hands is in all of that. You know what I mean? A lot of people
Yeah.
think I do have a team, but I'm more so the team on my own as far as the producing, directing, and all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
get it.
really like yes,
And that it just speaks to the level of um the not only the level of professionalism that you have, but the level of importance that you gave this, because a lot of times we will have an idea and we won't take that step to start the LLC, or we won't take the
yes,
step to have it trademarked. And
yes.
Transalien Studios is trademarked, right?
Absolutely.
So
Everything that I do falls under like
falls
Transalien
under
Studios.
transit.
Yes.
Yes, I've seen it everywhere as it should
Yes.
be. So
Yes.
keep doing what you're doing. And I hope that, well, let me ask you, what would you have to say to other individuals that are walking your path and
Hmm.
trying to step out and create that brand or that vision?
I would first say to not wait on other people because, sometimes we don't recognize our own power. And I think specifically for a lot of trans people, a lot of our personal power have been stripped from us, believe it or not. And this is very deeper than what you think. I think a lot of our power has been taken away, or at least they have tried to take away our personal power. Like, I feel like we all, just being in our natural essence, have a level of power within us, right? But I feel like a
Hmm.
lot of times we feel like we're not qualified to do what we need to do on our own to make shit shake. And you
Yeah.
can. I'm a living witness that you can. So I would say not to wait on anybody. I've had a lot of trans people, reaching out to work with me and to do this and all of that. But I am Sunkee Angel, and just because I'm a part of this community, some people don't understand this, but I can't make them understand this. Listen, I can't make people understand certain shit, but I can't just jump on every track with everybody. I can't just do, you know what I mean? I feel like it has to be a level of professionalism. I am professional at everything that I do. So
This is true.
you don't see Nikki. I try to. I'm favoring after all the greats. You don't see Beyonce just jumping on songs with everybody. You know what I mean? And that's how I see myself, like a Beyonce in the community. I do. And some people may think, oh, you think you're too much. I don't think I'm too much. I just know that I know my value. And if I just give my value away to everybody, then you become what? Less valuable. you
True.
know, if you're too
True.
accessible, it's like everybody is pulling and reaching. It's like, oh, anybody can jump on this. No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
However, I do is I'm not opposed to it depending on the situation is right. But I think too, if we're being honest, I have gone through a lot of envy within my community. A whole lot of that. And it's fucked up
Hmm.
as we speak. Yesterday, I was just, getting into a bitch's ass on Facebook. I try to be very careful about how I respond to certain things, and I've grown so much, Charlie. I've grown so much. But at times, sometimes I feel like I have to get in the mud with people, and especially when I'm fighting out here for my community and I'm on the front line, literally taking jabs from MAGA. It
Yeah.
hasn't been easy. So
Yeah.
if you in my community and you're coming for me, which some trans women have, I feel like it's my duty to speak out about it because it's already a lot going on with Trump being in office. Right now, this is not the time. We need to be together as much as possible. If you see me
This is true.
rallying or anybody rallying for the community, you should be thankful that we are. But I've had people right in my own community to try to invalidate me. So the attack has not just been from the outside in, it's also been from
Mm.
the inside out as well. And
That's
that's the
true.
part that I really wanted to expound on because a lot of people see me and they think that it's just me kind of like fighting something out there. But I'm also fighting things within my space as well, which is really crazy, which I never thought it would be, but that's the reality.
Hmm.
Some people feel like I might not be the proper representation for the community. It's not everybody, but I have a lot, I have people all over the world that love me. I'm not
Hmm.
Beyonce, but I am famous, so I have so many people that love me all over the world, but in certain demographics in certain spaces, I feel like they're like, well, why her?
Mm-hmm.
Why is she dressed like that? I don't fit the stereotypical look always for what a trans woman is supposed to be, right? So I've been attacked by certain people in my community. And yesterday was one of those days where I had to kind of like, you know, regulate some things because I had a few people ganging up on me saying that I'm not really trans and that I'm a drag queen. And it's like,
Mm.
first of all, bitch, who the fuck are you? Like, how you gonna tell me who the fuck I am,
Right.
darling? Who the fuck are you? Like, you're not the trans police, bitch. You just standing in the middle of the road, trans police in the sign, and you just like you patrolling the community now. Like, really, you come on, everybody, come on. Like, bitch, no, you can't patrol shit over here. You can't patrol it over here, darling. It's not gonna
Right. Sit
work.
down.
Sit down. It's not gonna work, especially when I know I have paid my dues. On my ID, it don't say drag. It says female. Of course, I'm not a female. I'm a female up here. Physically, I was born male, and I own my dick and my nuts and all of that. There's no shame in my game. So some of them feel as though, well, are you really trans? Like you wear the big wigs. You're not trans. Like how the fuck you gonna tell me though? You're doing a
But
disservice to not only me but to the rest of the community as well because you feel like I'm not fitting the aesthetic of what you think a woman is supposed to be or a trans woman is supposed to be. And from what I have seen, what they want me to look like in a lot of cases, they want my lips to be extra big, jaws big as fuck, like jigsaw, and all of that. And I'm not trying to give all of that unless it's something I want to do. I'm not going to move and force myself to have the same face as you to be validated. First of all, I'm not looking for your validation. No, I'm not. The,
gotcha.
the audacity to think that some people think that I need their validation in the first place is
Right.
insane. But that's how this community works. This community will sometimes, and I'm being honest, I love my community. Let me make it clear. I love my, and I mean, I don't have to say that. People know that. But I'm not going to act like I have not been attacked from within as well. The
And I
call is
think
coming from inside of the house at times.
yeah. Now, just being real, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard some of the talk too, or whatever. We hear.
Yes.
In your opinion, what would the perfect representation for a trans woman look like?
To be honest, I think the perfect representation is raw, honest, upfront. Because when you
Mhm.
think about it, I'm everything that they saying that a lot of trans people aren't. I'm upfront. They try to say we tricking people. I'm upfront. I've
Mm.
got a song, got plenty of songs about it. We just talked about it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm raw, I'm upfront, I'm honest, you know what I mean? Like I'm promoting transparency, you know. I think representation for me is anyone who has the right intention because I think it's about your intention too. Like my intent is about what's inside. Like
Yeah.
this is not dress up for me. This is my life. You know what I mean? So for me, I think the proper representation would be someone who has a voice and who's trying to use a voice to change hearts and minds. However they feel is right to do that.
Mhm.
And advocacy ain't gonna always look the same. And sometimes I think in
Mm.
order to really get
Interesting.
people's attention, you have to kind of do it in a way that is different sometimes. I think we used to seeing, shout outs to Hope Giselle, but we're used to seeing like that type of advocacy, which she does a great job. But
Yeah.
she's just more like just the type that would sit there, talk to you guys, give them. But me, I'm an artist. I'm the way that I'm doing is a little different from how some other advocates would advocate and be an activist. So I think it's really just any person who's willing to make themselves visible to target the things that need to be talked about and who's not afraid to talk about it. I don't think it should
Yeah.
look a certain
Mm.
way. You know what I
Right.
mean? I
Right.
don't think it should look a certain way.
Right. I love that.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right, we talked about upfront, right?
Yes.
Now, you've been so although we've not met Trey Songz, that's
Yes.
cool because you've met a lot of other great celebrities. Like you were at the
Absolutely.
iHeart Awards recently.
Yes.
You
Yes.
met SZA, LL,
Yes. Yes.
oh gosh, NLE.
Oh yes. That was so
Is he
dope.
is he fine in
Love him.
person? Is he fine in person or
NLE
just on
is
TV?
NLE. Let me say this about NLE, darling.
Come
So
on now.
NLE is adorable. He's very adorable. And he's just a sweet all around person.
I get that.
He's definitely adorable. I'm not gonna lie, but I think sometimes I tend to try to see the spirit of the person and not the outside.
Yeah.
I think his spirit is in the right. Again, his intentions are right, and I believe that they're pure. Some people try to say he was gay baiting and all this type of stuff when he was doing certain stuff, but I never seen it that way. I think he's just different in his own way, and he just want to be, himself. And I think he's kind of exploring his fashion sense right now. You know what I mean? I think he's
Yeah.
very spiritual too, which is also that's something that intrigued me because I'm very spiritual as well. But yeah, I saw him and um, should I go there? I don't know if I want to go that far. But basically, when I first saw him, I was trying to connect with him, but he had some other stuff going on. I kind of felt for a second that I'm like, it's, I don't know. I didn't really know exactly like if he wanted to like come into the space of where I was, but I know people are busy too. So I was like, I'm not going to sweat it. If it's meant to be, we'll connect. You know what I mean? And right
Yeah.
after that, when he was leaving, I think he was about to leave. He saw me and was like, come on, because I was like, come on, I want to get, I want to talk to you. Let's get a picture. I just want to chat for a little second, so we chatted it up. And it was a really dope moment. It was really dope. And I wanted to thank him for being, just like, accepting, because you don't have to be. A lot of rappers of your stature, they don't really care about the trans community or the LGBT community. So the fact that you are not afraid to be in our space, that means a lot to see people like you doing what you're doing. I respect it.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that. And I picked it up too from him. He has a good spirit, a good
he
energy about
does.
him.
He does.
And he's not caught up on what
People
the
think.
yes, and the
Yes.
whole model of what is acceptable. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
He's one of the examples for sure. I think that NLE is definitely one example. Then let's also give praise to his mother. I follow her on Facebook,
Uh-huh.
and I believe too that a lot of that has to do with his upbringing. Sometimes it's about that too. How you were raised, how you're being raised. And if
True.
you're raised to be respectful and to love everyone, that can take you a long way. And that will also set you aside. Some people don't know how to. Some people were probably raised great, but they, like you said, they're still caught up in what other people think. And, especially when you're a rapper, they only want to be associated with the drugs, the hoes, and the
Yeah.
cars, the jewelry, and all this type of stuff. But anything that's LGBT related, they don't want nothing to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They scared. But honestly, if you're smart, you would want to include us because we are the moneymakers. We're the ones who are going to support. You know what I mean? The LGBT community will
Definitely.
support you.
Yeah.
So I
And that
think
dollar is strong, baby. Strong.
yes, it's strong. It's strong. So I think what he's doing is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I could not leave that building without getting a picture and connecting with him. You know what I mean? I wanted to at least just, just get kind of like my way. When I see people too, that's kind of like my way of giving them flowers. It's not just about, oh, I want to get a picture, because I'm somebody too. It's more
Yeah.
like, this is a moment. I want this to be a moment in time that I'm actually snapping this picture with you. Because in the future, who knows what might come. I'm looking to hopefully collab with people of his nature. You know what I mean? Because I think
Yeah.
when a person like me collab who has a voice like me with somebody like him, that's powerful. It's going to
It
be
is.
powerful. You know what I mean?
It
So,
would be.
so yeah, I feel like in certain situations, it'll be great to like do those collaborations and stuff like that to drive the message a little further and for people to see that it's okay to actually collab with a trans woman.
It's okay. It's
We
okay.
need that. I think that would be so fucking dope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, I'm excited for you. I'm so excited
Yes.
for you. I really am. I am.
Thank you.
So you recently met Dolce too. What was that
Dochi
about?
was the highlight.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Dochi was the fucking highlight. I'm not gonna lie about that. That was the motherfucking highlight, okay? And what made it the highlight for me was the fact that I commented on something because, of course, I'm following her,
Yeah.
and I forgot I think she was just coming out with the Alligator album. I think or what is the album? I think it was an EP album. No, what
EP.
is it? EP something like So yeah, I commented and I was just like, I think I put like the heart, the fire emoji, and the looking
Hmm.
eyes or something like that. And she was like titties at the top, and I was like, wait, like like don't get me wrong, I know a bitch is famous and I know people know me, but sometimes I don't know like who's like watching and paying. Sometimes you don't know, and there was a moment like that for me that
Yeah.
let me know. Wait, don't you know who the fuck I am? And she's like supporting and watching. Like that was the moment I'm like, that bitch is watching me. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, wait, you know what I mean? Because let me say, like, the thing is, I meet so many people. I've met Cardi, I've met Cardi, I met the Nickies, I met all of them, but something about Doechii is different. It's just different. The energy was just different. I think,
Yeah.
too, it hits different when you are a black trans woman coming up in this society and people are constantly coming for you and they always want to make it something sinister when you're trying to do something good. And,
Hmm.
and, and they want to make you feel invisible. So when you see somebody of her stature who just won Woman of the Year and getting all these
Hmm.
accolades, and she's all over the world, like literally one of the biggest artists right now that everybody's talking about, and her recognizing someone like me, that made me feel really, really fucking good. In fact, I cried when I left.
Really?
It was deeper than me. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I'm meeting
Yeah.
certain people. It's
Yeah.
not just like, oh my God, like it ain't. It's not like fanning out type shit for me. Sometimes it's the fact that somebody of this stature actually saw me beyond all the other shit. Like you saw me, and that matters to me. And I wanted her to know that I'm so thankful that you actually saw me. Like I was very, very emotional about that. Very
Oh,
emotional. Like the fact that she wanted me to know, and I still see you. She was like, and I still see you.
yeah.
Like, bitch, I know who you are. I'm watching you. Yes, yes. I know,
That
and I
is
want her to know,
so
like, with everything
lovely.
that's going on with the black, black trans people in the media and people come. She was, and I think too, she spoke somewhat about that. I think too. I think at the award show that I think she mentioned. I think something. So she's very savvy on what's going on, and that all of that type of stuff matters. Some people don't really care about what's going on with the trans community, but the fact that she's up on what's happening right now, she's talking about it. That matters to me. It
Yeah,
matters. I don't just
yeah,
see her as like an artist. When you can use your platform and acknowledge people like me who are going through things where knowing that we're being attacked and targeted and stuff like that, and to know
mhm.
again that she saw me, it really, really made me feel seen. And I think that's important.
I love that.
To be
I
seen
love
is very important.
it's
Not
very
that let
important
me
to me.
also say, not that I need validation. Let me make myself clear.
Right.
But, we all, it's good to have a little validation sometimes,
Yes.
from people that are, especially like I said, of her stature doing the things that she's doing. You know what I mean? All the
Right.
things that she's covering right now, that made me feel really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much coming at me right now, but to be seen.
Yes.
To be
This
seen.
is
Not
good.
that you need it, but to be seen. Like they see me. They
They
know
see me. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
here. And if they
Because many
see
times there have
you,
been times that I have seen people who I know they know who I am, but they want to act like they don't know, or they just don't know who I am. It's like I know for a fact I know you know who I am. But for
right.
some reason, I feel like some people they don't want to. I don't know what that's about. I have
Yeah.
had many moments like that where they want to kind of like overlook me, or like I'll talk. Like it's been times where I'll kind of let my guard down. I'm talking to these people, and you could tell like they just don't want to really like give flowers, or like they don't really want to acknowledge the work that I've done when I know they know, and I
Right.
never understand it. I don't understand
Right.
it, but I try not to
So
internalize it, because I don't need it. It's not a need per se. I know.
right.
Yeah.
There is a difference. There is a difference. But what you just
Yes.
said takes me to this. And if you will, if you don't want to, that's fine. But if you will, just give us the beginning and the ending of this verse, I guess.
Of which one?
So I'll start it off. Well, I'm not gonna start it off, I ain't got
Okay.
that. But you say, they say I'm clout chasing. Now I'm voguing at their funeral.
Oh, you talking about problem?
Problems, yeah.
Problem. Problem. I actually just played that yesterday on live on Facebook Live when I was reading.
Uh-huh.
Because a few people came on and was like, "Well, you a problem to the community." I had when I was going off. Sometimes they be sending their little trolls and stuff because they know what I'm saying is the truth.
Yeah.
So they was like, "Oh, you're a problem." So I put the song on and was just giving little antics and stuff like that. So yeah, problem is on my new EP going mainstream.
Yeah.
And that's like one of my favorite songs. I think too, I'm trying to work on a music video for that because I feel like that song is it's something about that song that I think people really fucking with the response that I'm getting. A lot of people really fucking with that song.
Yes, that needs some
Yeah.
visuals. That needs a video.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So, okay, okay. So we got problem. Now,
Oh,
can you
not,
give us a little bit of it?
um, let me see. I'm trying to see if I want to, because I'm not gonna lie, my voice is a little raw right now. Um, let me see. Where do I want to start? You won't. Okay, they hate when it's a question when I be looking for clarity. They want to play it safe like a blogger screaming allegedly. They clicking up to hate me, put their ass in a cubicle. They say I'm clout chasing, now I'm voguing at their funeral. They talking, they don't understand. They advertising for me like a billboard. Them bitches advertising me in public. Like they want to get my Instagram deleted because they want to get my presence. I needed a new start. It was a blessing. I release my anger through this music. That's how I release my trauma. Rather put it on a track before I be like Jeffrey Dahmer. They said I couldn't make it. My success is their karma. Activating vibranium like I'm living in Wakanda. Niggas be quick to say that I'm a chick with a dick, but be the same ones who put their homeboys before they bitch. Niggas on Twitter, niggas on Twitter be screaming my dead name Diggy Doo. They want to catch me like I'm Pikachu. So yeah, I think that song is really something that people are gonna relate to.
Yes,
So yeah,
I
yeah, it's
heard that and
gonna
I
be
was
really
like,
dope.
yes.
Yes, yes, yes. It's really
All
dope.
right.
That's like one of my favorite songs. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be really like really dope. Yeah,
Yes.
I ain't really want to give too much because my throat, like I said, is gone. So
Yeah, I
I'm
remember.
really trying to preserve my voice right now. I've been taking care of my voice and stuff because Beyonce took it. So yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really
And those
trying
are
to, because
the
my
steps.
throat, I sing too, so it's a lot. I have to be careful about my vocals and stuff like that. That's the thing. When you're a singer, you're not only just rapper. You have to be careful about screaming too much because you can scar.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on like if you keep like over abusing it. So I just want to make
Yeah,
sure I'm like really trying to preserve the voice. But
I
yeah,
got you. I
yeah.
got you. And that's something else. And I'll say, you have such a beautiful spirit. Your
Thank
energy
you.
is amazing.
I
And
really
on top of
appreciate
that, you are so talented. Like going back and looking at everything that you've done.
it.
So, and I want people to understand, like when you said earlier, you got a hand in everything, like
Yes,
you doing your vocals, the
everything.
storytelling.
It's so many. I think a lot of people may not understand. They don't really understand. They don't know the weight of all the roles that I'm playing. Because it looks
Yeah,
like when they see me, I have a team. I do. But like I said, I'm really the one that's really like pulling the strings of everything.
yeah.
Everything. You know what I
No,
mean?
I
And
get it.
it hasn't always been easy, when you're doing so many things, like when you think of like the Cardi B's, now they have teams that can handle a lot of things but I'm doing everything for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because most of the time it's a thing where I am a real artist, so I want things to be a certain way. So
right.
sometimes I'll be afraid to put like certain things into other people's hands because it may not be how I want it. I
Right.
have to make sure it's how I want it to be. You understand? So I'd rather just be the one to like do it how I want it to be.
I
Because
get
what's the purpose of doing all this shit, wasting time, and it's not how I want it to be. You
Yeah,
know?
I
Yeah.
get that. Oh, I love you. You're amazing.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
um, all right, so you're a Capricorn, right?
Yes, I am. I was born January the 12th, 1988.
So tell us from your Capricorn lens, what do you want people to know about Sunkee Angel?
What I want people to know about Sunkee Angel is that I was born to be a disruptor. I was put here on this earth to defy gravity, to divide and to break down ideas and systematic belief systems that were put into place, and certain ideas that people have, even within our community, that could be harmful. You got to
Mm-hmm.
understand that just because we're in the LGBT community, that doesn't mean that every idea that people think is okay, that may not mean that it is okay. Certain ideas about, like I was just telling you about, certain aesthetics that people feel like I have to have in order to be considered a legit trans woman or whatever the fuck, whoever came up with some rule book in order for you to be a trans woman. Um, but Sunkee Angel was put here to break all of that down because there are people who come through here who may not fit this construct or this box that people think that you should be in. And I feel like I
Mm-hmm.
was come through this bitch to tear all that shit down because you can't make people feel bad about them being different from you because we're all different, no matter what space that you're in. So I believe and I know strongly that spirit brought me to this dimension to bring a lot of things to the forefront and to bring change, to break the generational stuff that has been passed down through certain bloodlines and the black family structure. And because of that, I know that some of that is going to make me the target. Because a lot
Yeah,
of people want this stuff to be in place. A lot of people want control. A lot of black mothers want control of their kids. But the things that I'm doing when their kids are looking up to me, some of them may not want that because they feel like I'm encouraging something that their mother or father may not approve of.
yeah,
But um, I can't help that people see light in me. I can't help that children may see light from grown to old. I have people that support me from all ages, but specifically speaking of children, I cannot help that they are they're supporting me. They see me. They see some type of representation within me, something that makes them feel good about who they are, even when their parents and stuff may not approve. So I just want people to know that this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to shake shit up. I'm here to, open minds and not to force my way or to force anything on anyone, but to throw a little mud on the wall and make it stick. Because that's what I was taught. My mama said if you throw mud on the wall, some of it's going to stick. And it's been
yeah,
sticking. It's been
yeah.
sticking.
I love that.
Yes.
So, I'll say you're saving lives, you're
Absolutely.
changing
Absolutely.
lives, you're entertaining people, and you not only have music, but you have the ability to storytell the short
Yes.
films. Hopefully, we
hmm
see so much more, and it's
Oh,
needed.
absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
needed.
Absolutely. We have a lot of things in store, but it's so many things that I'm trying to take my time with too because I don't want to rush.
Yeah,
I believe in putting my all in everything that I do. And if it's a specific project that I'm working on, I don't want to just throw it out there. I don't believe in it. I believe in, everything I do. I'm Sunkee. I can't just, it's got to be right. You know what I mean?
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. All right, so I'm about to close this out soon, right? And
Okay.
this I'll edit out, but I'm
Okay.
about to close this out soon. Is there anything that we've not discussed that you want to talk about?
Um, I think it's one more thing, but I don't know if it's really important. Like, well, it is important to me, but I don't feel
What's
like
up?
it has to be.
What's up?
Um, okay, so basically, when I'm doing music, and all the things that I'm doing through my music, the main thing that I want people to focus on, mainly, I think is one of the main reasons right now, what I'm focused on with the message that I'm putting out, is that trans people, our brains are born in the wrong body. There's this thing called neurobiology, neuroscience. And a lot of times, a lot of people focus on the fact that we have a dick, which is why I focus on dick, titties, and stuff, because I feel like that's what they focus on. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my own way flipping it to let people know, yes, we do. We may have, titties at the top and dick at the bottom, but who we really are is up here. And a lot
Right.
of people are not
That's true.
really expounding on that part. It just seems like everybody's so focused more so on the body and surge and silicone and all this type of stuff. But honestly, who you are as a trans person is supposed to be here first. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't have nothing to do with surge and all this type of stuff. That's a part of it. For certain people, everybody's different. That's a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want people to focus on and do their research on something called neurobiology, because there is a guy by the name of Dr. Sapolsky who I've been following, who has touched on the topic of trans people's brains being in the wrong gender. And I want people to know that who we are is just not about physical anatomy. Just because somebody was born with a penis does not mean that that's who they are in totality. That's a part of us. That doesn't define the brain. Everything is operated by the brain.
Right.
And yeah, neurobiology is what I've been looking into, and I want people to focus more on that term, to look up what going on with the neuroscience of trans people, so they understand more about, for the people who want to understand, because there's some people who really want to understand, or they
Right.
just cannot wrap their mind around how are you born with a dick, how you were born a male but you want to be a woman. But it's not something that we want to be, it's just something that we were given. It's something that we were
Right.
born with. It's something that it's a mismatch happening in the body. It's literally misalignment. It's our brains not being aligned with our body.
Right.
Yes.
So it this takes me back to a discussion I had with the doctor on the show,
Mm-hmm.
and she explained the difference between gender identity and
Mm-hmm.
gender expression.
Right.
So
Gender
what?
expression is me expressing I could be expressing myself as a woman, but living
Right.
as a man. You know what I mean? I guess what some people would consider a drag queen or a cross dresser, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
identify with. If I did, I would
Right.
say, hey, yes, I'm a cross dresser. Yes, but I don't identify as a drag queen or I'm a woman. But I also call myself a multi-dimensional woman, trans woman, because who I am has so many faces, which we just talked about, all the many things that I'm doing, how I show up, the big hair, the glass mohawk, that alone, the glass, how I do my glass pieces and stuff. That's me showing up in many different facets and not just one dimensional like some trans women can be. Everybody's not supposed to be the same. Everybody, there should be space for people who don't want to just be conformed to just the feminine construct of what a woman is. There are some women or trans women who are a little masculine. They might be a little
Yeah.
bush, or they might be a little, and there's nothing wrong with it. Just like you have some women who are not biological women. They're not all the way just complete feminine. They might play
Right.
sports, or they might be a little hard or whatever. That doesn't
Right.
take away who
Right.
they are as a person. You know what I
It does.
mean? But that gender expression could be, someone, it could be a girl who expresses herself as a guy, and vice versa. Gender identity is in the brain.
Yeah.
Gender identity is in the brain. Gender identity is what's going on in your brain chemistry. And a lot of black people don't get that. And I want to say to black people who are homophobic or transphobic, my thing is a lot of them get their ideology from religion, Christianity, specific to be exact. If you can stretch your brain to believe that a man walked on water, and you can feel, if you can believe and know without no proof that Jonah got swallowed up in the belly of a fucking whale and didn't come out at the end of that whale's ass as a pile of shit, then you should be able to use that same imagination to stretch to believe that trans women's brains are born in the wrong body. If you can use that same imagination with no proof, and it's been proven that our brains are born in the wrong gender
Mm-hmm.
scientifically, then why is that so hard to believe? It shouldn't be that hard to fathom anyway, because we all were born, we all started out as female in the womb anyway. A lot of people seem like they don't. We all
They
start
don't
as
know that.
female in the womb.
That's
So
true.
I'm just going back home. I'm just going back home. I'm just going back home. Don't get mad at me because I can't. This is not something I'm deciding to wake up and say, "Oh, I want to be a woman like today." No, baby, this is something I felt since I was a child. Couldn't even put this shit into language. I remember telling my friends, like I said, I feel like a girl. Why do I feel like a girl? Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on? So for me, this has been a very real thing for me. So no matter how I choose to express myself, I am who I say I am. And there's no other trans woman who's gotten all this work done. There's no other gay male. There's no straight person who can tell me who I am. I am who I say I am. There's no reason for me to just try to infiltrate a space, to try to fit under an umbrella, to blend in. You know what I mean? What the fuck I'm finna go through all that for? That's too much time. That's too much work and
Mm.
too much. That's crazy to me. Like,
Mhm.
I'm literally going through, I'm not even talking, why would I want to lose my family and like just to do that? Because like I said, there have been people in my own community. These are the things I be wanting to talk about though. And sometimes coming into spaces like this, which I'm thankful for, it is kind of difficult because I feel like when you're calling certain things out and holding people accountable, it can seem like an attack. But my thing is, we
Mhm.
should be able to hold each other accountable within our community, and it
We
shouldn't be
should.
taken as an attack if you're operating out of a space of hatred, invalidation, judgment, condemnation, and all the type of stuff as it pertains to your sisters and brothers. Everybody is not supposed to be a monolith. But the way I look at it, the people who have attacked me, they seem like they are a monolith. Because everybody want to look the same, everybody want the same ass, everybody want the same titties and everything, the face and everything. And I don't have no problem with how people choose to do their body, but don't attack me because I don't look like you or I'm not um, representing the way you think I should represent or whatever. Because again, I'm an individual. Whether
You're an
I would be
individual.
trans or not, we're all individual. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the attack has been very, very real for me, coming from every which way. Not just the straight community, it's been from my own community too. And I just want to, challenge people who feel that I'm not really trans or that I'm a quote unquote drag queen or whatever the fuck you want to call it, to think a little bit longer and harder to recognize that everybody is not supposed to be this cookie cutter image of what a trans woman is supposed to look like or how she's supposed to show up. Because how
Right.
would you feel if somebody told you that, you've done been through everything that you've gone through being to get to where you are as a trans woman, and they tell you you didn't make the cut. You
That's
don't
real.
belong here.
They
That's what
do.
the girl told me. You don't belong here. And then all to look and all for her to say that to me. And then right after that, they send me some tea on her because I am known. So when people see me posting what somebody done did, somebody might know this
Somebody
person.
sent us.
And they
Yeah.
ran that tea and told me that she was a pedophile. And it's literally this is not what they told me. This is what is on the news. It's literally online. It's public record. And it's
Oh
like,
my
but you
God.
coming at me saying I don't fit in
But you
spaces, but look at what you got going on. You know what I mean?
right.
Or what you
Right.
had going on. And I hate to have to give it to my own people like that, but sometimes I feel like being an advocate, you have to hold people accountable. You have to get in the mud sometimes, unfortunately. Advocacy for me is not always perfect. It's not always pretty. Sometimes you
It's
have
not
to
pretty.
have difficult conversations, especially if it's affecting people like me, myself. I'm going to stand up for myself. I don't have nobody else standing up for me but me. I have to stand up for myself sometimes, and it's painful sometimes to have to, unfortunately, have very difficult dialogue with my own sisters who feel that I'm not making the cut. Because who the fuck are you to tell me
Mm.
anything about who I am or who I'm not?
Right.
When the other side is doing the same thing for all of us, saying they all saying we all men and wigs. So my whole thing is you're doing the same thing they doing. You know what I mean? So
Right.
why do you want to be the oppressor? That's the real question.
Why do we want to oppress
Why do
and
we want
stop?
to oppress others?
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with privilege. People don't
What
want equality; they want privilege.
they call it passing privilege
Yeah, they whatever they. But it's like my thing
or
is, yeah, something. Yeah, I guess you could say that, like to be able to blend in and stuff like that. And the thing is,
yeah.
I'm not against that. Like blend. That's the whole goal, to become more comfortable in who you are. But the goal is not to become comfortable in you are and then make other people uncomfortable with who they are. That's not the
Right.
goal.
That's not the
That's not the
goal.
goal. And that's what a lot of people are doing. And these are the conversations I want to get on these platforms and talk about. Even though it's
Yeah.
difficult sometimes, because I know, like I said, just talking about it invites people to want to attack me further. But at this point, I don't care because I'm already under attack. I might as well, again, I might as well just go and put belt to ass. Might as well. Because I know this is a narrative that I've seen people try to come up with, and I'm gonna fight back. I'm not just gonna
Yeah.
let nobody try to bang me and beat my ass and try to tell me who I am when that's not who I am. If I'm not if I identify as a trans woman and I'm telling you I'm not a drag queen, respect that. Respect is what it's about. At the end of the day, a lot of people don't really know how to respect. They want respect, but they're not willing to give it.
They're not willing to give it.
Yeah.
Wow. Powerful stuff. And
Yes.
hopefully this is not your last time with us.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is. I really like it over here, so of course not.
Yes. All
Yes.
right. So, um, well, of course I know, right? So
Yes. Hmm.
Sunkee Angel,
Yes.
YouTube,
Hmm.
Instagram, Facebook.
Yes. Sunkee Angel. You can find me on YouTube at Sunkee Angel. You can find me on Facebook at Sunkee Angel. You can find me on Instagram at Sunkee Angel 334. You can find me on TikTok at Sunkee Angel 334. That's my area code for Montgomery. I'm representing Montgomery. Woo, let's go. So yeah, and then what else? Twitter, Sunkee Angel 334.
Yes. And music
Yes.
streaming on all major
You
platforms.
can, yes, you can stream. Well, Trans with a Fan right now because that's the song that everybody's starting to go up for. We're actually working on a line dance because a lot of people asking, is it gonna be a line dance to go with Trans with the Fan? Because they want to
Y'all
know.
have a line dance.
Baby,
I
we got a line
love.
dance. Yeah, shout outs to Lolo and B. They are two Black beautiful women here in Los Angeles they have a class where they're teaching line dances. Because when you think about it, a lot of the line dance and all this type of stuff is more in the South. You know what I
True.
mean?
True.
So I love to see when there's something Southern oriented happening on the West Coast because we don't really get that. You know what I mean? The experience.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. So a lot of people want to learn these dances because they know it's so hot. So she's holding a class where I think you can pay like $25 or so like that, so you can learn to dance and stuff with your fans and all that type of stuff. So I reached my producer's wife, saw that she was promoting this class, and wanted me to reach out to see if they could, help me facilitate coming over the line dance. And I thought it'd be awesome because I wanted to, also help promote two, Black beautiful queens and what it is they're trying to do. So we got together and baby, they helped me come up with a fire-ass line dance. It's so dope. And it's not hard to learn, but it's dope and it's fun. I really think that it's going to be really dope. I also discussed with them I wanted to do like a clean version too because I think sometimes when you do certain songs, you don't really know which version will really take and really capture the people. But a lot of people fucking with this version, but I really feel too that I want to do a clean version too and change some things around so they can be a little bit more digestible for certain people to have, a good time for the people who may not really understand me saying I got my fan, I got my titties and my dick, they may not really understand that. So I feel like when I do this clean version, I don't know, it's something about it for this particular song. I just really feel like it's gonna also help the song kind of catch more fire because it may be easier on the ears for certain people. I come with a little strong language, so you understand what I'm saying. Some people may not fully understand, but either way, even if they do get the clean version, it's still gonna draw them back to the other version with what I really want them to hear. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by with us. You are
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So, family, if you will, let's wish Sunkee Angel all the success and happiness that her heart and hands can hold. You know the impacts when we show up and show out for our community, for our brothers, our sisters, our LGBTQIA plus siblings.
Yes.
Show up and show out and put your best foot forward. We appreciate you. Yay.
Grab your fans, now come to the flow. Come to the flow, now come to the flow.